I'm back doing my 5th Harry Potter ramble video. Oh my god. More! If you thought Goblet of Fire was heavy, then you have not picked up Order of the Phoenix. Ooh! This is the longest book out of any of them. I thought they were going to get longer from here. Thankfully they didn't, because, ooh, this is good workout, actually. Anywho, Order of the Phoenix is my least favorite Harry Potter book. Start out with a quick summary. Everything is crappy for Harry after the events of Goblet of Fire. He's just having a rough time. He's mad and angry, and the Ministry does not believe him that Voldemort is back, and there's a terrible new teacher at Hogwarts, and then nothing is going right. That's it. Okay. This is my least favorite. There was let me just go into the history here. 3-year-long wait between Goblet of Fire and this one. I was dying of anticipation. I could not wait to get my hands on this book. So, I got it the first day, and I just spent all day reading it. I was visiting my grandma's house, and it was so boring. But I finished it in the first day, and wow, I felt like all of the magic from the first 4 books was gone. I was not immediately sucked in or engrossed into reading like the first 4 books had done. It wasn't like nice and warm and inviting for me. I felt it was very, very cold. For one thing, it was depressing because Harry was not the Harry that I knew and loved from before. And it was actually believable that, he would carry some emotional trauma after what had just happened to him. And his anger, it was not totally justified, but it was realistic and totally believable. But that doesn't mean I had to like it. It just made me sad to read about. I'm like, ugh, every time he would start yelling in caps lock to someone, it would just bring me down. And also, I feel like not just that, but everything, there was like nothing good that happened in it. Everything, like bad stuff just kept happening. And I'm like, this is horrible. How is Harry ever going to become his old self again if everything just keeps getting worse and worse? Like, that stupid biatch Umbridge I wanted to punch in the face. Like, I have never hated a character so much. And I didn't, hate her as in she's a bad character. I think she was a really well-written character, and I loved to hate her. But I never hated anyone. God, she is my most hated character of, the bad people of the whole series. I think she is the worst one. I think she's worse than Voldemort, because the loathing that I felt for her, I've never felt for anyone else in literature before or since then. Another thing that bothers me about the book is the length. And for Goblet of Fire, which is not really that much shorter than this, it's very close, it didn't bother me because I felt like there was a lot of really interesting stuff going on. This one just felt a little bit bloated. Her editors just were lazy, and they're like, she's the big J.K. Rowling now, and we don't need to edit this. Her word is God. That's probably not true in any way, but that's what I felt like. There's so much, again, we don't get to Hogwarts until the 10th or 11th chapter, and there was just so much in it that that felt extraneous or tacked on, that it didn't add anything to the story. We got to see, Harry go into the Ministry of Magic, which was cool in a way, but I felt like it's a little bit draggy for me. Then we have whole chapters that I felt like could have been cut out, such as Hagrid's Tale, where Hagrid talks about his meeting with the giants and how it failed. It is just a whole chapter of Hagrid, so we see Hagrid's accent written down, talking, and that was just really annoying for me to read, and it didn't add anything to the story. Yeah, and there's also the whole chapter with Grop. I felt was really unnecessary. I mean, I kind of get the reason what she was going for there, but then I thought that Grop was maybe going to play some larger part later on and have a really important purpose, and he didn't. So that stuff, and I don't know. There were a lot of really good scenes in it, but as a whole, the combination of everything brought it down to me, again, in comparison to the other books. As its own book, I still think it's a good book. It's not, I wouldn't say it was bad, but I have to give it 7 out of 10 rating, the lowest out of any Harry Potter book rating. And I still love it because it's Harry Potter, and it does have a lot of individual scenes and things like that to recommend it. But yeah, as a whole work, it was just not as good for me. Next, we are moving on to the movie, which, surprisingly enough, as I think I mentioned in my Harry Potter tag thingy video before, this is the one movie that I actually like more than the book. It is not a perfect movie by any means. Hermione, or Emma Watson's acting as Hermione, well, wasn't as bad with the eyebrows as in the fourth one. She got a lot better and toned it down a little bit. Everybody else's acting, though, was really, really good. I loved, what's her face? Imelda Staunton as Umbridge. Like, really brought what a horrible character to life. And the scene where, the detention scene where, Harry gets, I must not tell lies, carved, written in blood, and it's carved on his hand. That was even more chilling than in the book. I actually see it. I need to close my eyes to that scene. I'm totally fine with any of the other scary battle parts. That is a scene out of all of the movies that gives me the shivers. Yeah, I know, I'm weird. And Imelda Staunton was amazing. Also, Luna Lovegood, which I think I forgot to mention in the book, she was one of the best parts of the book. Ivana Lynch as Luna Lovegood was, oh my god, she was that character. It was kind of creepy. I'm like, is she acting or is she really like that? Because it seemed almost like that was just who she was. Like, it was so natural to her. A little bit creepy, but in a good way. The shipping, I felt, too, was done really well in the movie. The whole Harry and Cho thing, the way it went in the book, and the way, I actually felt like it was done a little bit better. That's one of the things in the book. But, you even got hints of, Ginny's feelings for Harry in this, which were pretty cool, I think. You still had a bit of caps lock Harry, but it was toned down, and Daniel Radcliffe's acting was really good in this too. So I was okay with it. It didn't have the coldness for me that the book did. It also kind of condensed some of my least favorite parts of the book. Those being Hagrid's tale, which is down to just a couple sentences, done much better this way, and Grop. I really liked Grop in the movie. I really liked the scene, and I liked Grop himself. He was so adorable. And in the book, I kind of want to skip over that when I reread. I have to make myself reread that. My gut instinct is to skip over it, and I don't do that in the movies, or in this movie at least. Yeah, and it's not a perfect movie. There was perhaps a little bit too much cut out, but on the whole, this is probably my second favorite of all of the movies. I think it was just really well done. If I could have it perfect, I would keep a little bit more from the book in, but as it is, I adore it, and I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 because just a little bit keeps it from being perfect, but still a really, really strong movie, in my opinion at least, from sort of a hater, so to speak, of the book.